This is a Glassbox Media podcast.
Welcome, everybody. It's my worst date. Look at us.
That is literally never how we start these ever.
Never.
Holy shit.
My name's Cassie.
I'm Keegan.
I'm Christina.
Gosh, that feels weird.
I know,
We're
right?
on it.
You know why? It's because we just did a Shorties or not a Shorties, but we just did a
Crazy in Love movie for Patreon.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which also, by the way, got me an idea for our Fuck, Marry, Kill.
Oh, okay.
So everyone, we just did for our Patreon, we just did
Misery.
Crazy in Love movie Misery. Exactly.
Yeah.
I was thinking we could do maybe Fuck, Marry, Kill Stephen King characters.
Okay.
Or villains.
Ooh.
Or
Okay.
something.
Just
I mean,
anything.
it doesn't have to be villains, but maybe Stephen King characters.
Yes, I like
Yes.
it. I'm down.
Oh
I'm
my
into
gosh.
it.
Yikes.
John Travolta's character in Carrie.
Oh, God.
Oh,
I don't think I ever
God,
watched
yeah.
it, but I read the book.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I've watched the movie.
He's the worst.
Jesus. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
We'll think about this.
Okay,
We'll do
I'll
it.
think about it.
I'm into it. For
Okay.
sure.
All right. So, did you guys see this about Gwyneth Paltrow and Brad Falchuk that I was actually just reading? I'd actually heard it recently, like kind of on probably Twitter or something.
Who's the guy?
Brad Falchuk, it's her husband.
They don't live together.
That's what I was just about to say. They literally, it says they only live together 4 days a week. Gwyneth had said, all my friends say that that the way we live sounds ideal. It's so funny because that's pretty much how my husband and I live, because I travel.
Right.
I leave Sunday. Today I'm leaving. I don't get back until Thursday. That's my typical week. I'm like, yeah, no, that sounds right.
I get it.
It can work for some people.
Yeah.
It really does not. That is not a situation that I would enjoy
Appeals to you.
at all.
Sure.
Nothing about that appeals to me.
I could see maybe one night. Like I could see maybe having like one night apart, just because like sometimes I'm like, yeah, I just want to watch whatever I want on Netflix. I want to like take a bath. I want to like do just me one night. I can see that. But 4 nights out of the week, yeah, I don't know.
It's funny. I think that everybody thinks it's weird. I think we don't think it's weird when it's someone like myself who travels for work.
yeah.
But
We
really,
think it's weird because they've made the choice is like why we think it's strange. But whatever works for you, like I'm not here to judge.
I mean,
that.
and if you got money to have multiple houses and stuff like that,
Also,
I'm
too,
sure
again,
it's
if
like
it works for you.
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
I agree. Nothing again. Obviously, again, like I said, it's so funny because there's things that for me, like that's very normal. Like I travel so much. I've traveled for years. It's the only. Here's something. I know this is going to feel like I'm going on a tangent, but I'm going to say this, not relationship related, but women versus men related. I, as somebody who travels 5 days a week, 4 to 5 days a week, I am on the road all the time. People constantly, as a woman, I get asked, oh, so you have kids? How old are your kids? Like, like who watches them for you while you're gone? You know what I mean? However, my son's 22 now, so it's not even a thing. But like when he was younger or a teenager, and people were like, who watches your children for you? I'm like, their fucking dad.
Yeah, what do you mean?
They have a fucking other parent, and
No,
why
it's weird when we think that men are like babysitting. Like it's like, no, you're not babysitting your own fucking kids. Like they're your kids.
My coworker at the time literally had 4 children under the age of 8. No one ever asked who's watching your kids.
Yeah, no,
no one ever.
You're their parent. They're parenting their children. Yeah, I mean, I think it's an interesting thing because like whatever works for you, that's fine. And I think that there are a lot of situations where that is essentially the case, where one member of a partnership will be working a lot, and so that is what happens. Like,
Right.
they'll be gone 4 days out of the week or whatever. I think what's different about this is like they are choosing to do that, whereas like a lot of families that I know, they do it because it's like
You have
they have to for work,
Right.
but they wouldn't choose that as like their ideal scenario.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Like my dad was gone a lot because he was in the military. Like he was gone a lot. And I know for sure that my parents did that because they had to do it. And if they had a choice, they wouldn't have done it that way.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Yeah. For me, I know I need an probably unhealthy amount of attention. I
want to hear all the time.
The attention.
I always think about that. I always think about that meme. I talk to Anthony about it all the time. Have you seen that one where it's like they're like little blob people and like one is talking to the other one and one's like on the floor and the one who's standing up is like, how much attention do you need? And the one that's on the floor is like, all of it. Like, yeah, that's how I feel. Yeah. I'm like, all of it.
Yes.
All of the attention. All of it. Yeah, no, I mean, I really enjoy and like cherish my alone time. I enjoy that. Like I enjoy having time to myself, but I don't know that I would choose 50-50, like half the time to be alone.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Interesting though.
different people are different and whatever works, you know?
Yeah. I always joke. I'm like, that's why Chris and I are so happily still married.
I think that there's
there's
a healthy amount of away time. I do. I think that there's like a good amount of like having your own space and having your own hobbies and being excited whenever you get to like be together again. Like
Right.
there's missing somebody
Sure.
can like make you feel closer to them.
Yeah.
So I get that aspect of it for sure.
But yeah, you have to find that line for yourself.
Yeah, find a balance that
Yeah.
works for you and your partner. 'Cause
Yeah.
some people just love to be together all the time.
Well, yeah,
know?
and that's a
gross.
fine line
I
of
feel the same. I'm like, that's too much.
codependence. Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
too
yeah.
much.
Speaking of gross, Chris Pratt and Katherine Schwarzenegger. Got
Oh
married.
my God.
Sorry, they're just so in love. It is
Oh,
gross to
it's
me.
Yeah.
gross
Like,
to me.
ew.
They do seem like, and I just like read things about their relationship where they're like, Jesus is in the room with us when we're in bed.
I don't know
and I'm
why.
Like, ew.
Literally, that like put a Creed song in my head.
That is what they walk down the aisle to.
Absolutely.
I feel like
arms wide open.
That's the song that was in my fucking head. Literally, she said Chris Pratt and whatever her fucking name is.
Katherine Schwarzenegger.
And and I was like, literally was like, when arms wide open.
They're just,
I
you know,
was like,
you know what the thing is?
I don't know why.
Part of what makes them so
It's
gross to
right.
me,
Because if their relationship was a song,
it would be
it
that
would
song.
totally be that.
You know, I think part of what like makes their relationship so gross to me is that like they are just so reminiscent of like the perfect Midwestern high school couple who like, you know,
my
like
God.
they're
true.
like, it's you, me, and Jesus. And
God.
I was a cheerleader and you were a
Football
coach.
captain.
And like we were both part of like, you know, Athletes for Christ. You know,
not a thing.
it is a thing. Oh my God, yes.
No,
Yes.
no.
There
my
were so
gosh.
many Christian-based clubs at my
Yikes.
high school.
Yes.
Listen, not bashing religion.
Oh no, not
like,
at all. I'm just saying
all.
it evokes a certain kind of like,
Yes.
and that's what I feel when I look at them. Like, and that's not bad. Again, if that fucking works for you, I know couples like that from my high school, and I'm like, they're fucking super happy.
Yeah.
And it really works for them, but it does because of it just evokes this thing
Yeah.
in my mind where I'm like, oh yeah, that's what I'm looking at here.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's funny. You said if their relationship was a song, that it's perfect. But it's so funny because do you have a relationship or a song that is your relationship? Because for Chris and I, our song has always been the Postal Service
Version of Such Great Heights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that a version of, or is that their song? And then
yes, you're right. You're right.
Wine and
Iron and Wine did a
Wine's
cover
does
of it.
cover.
Yes.
Yeah.
Postal Service, it is their song. Yeah.
Postal Service song, yeah. And it's so perfectly us, and the lyrics are like, you know, when I'm out there on the road, you know.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
just so many things
Yeah.
that are like, it's like perfectly lines up for our relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great song.
It's not what we danced to for at our wedding though. 'Cause
What
we
did you dance to?
I have it tattooed on me, In My Life by the Beatles.
Oh, nice.
My life.
And you know what? That's a good first dance song because it's also short.
Yeah.
And so you're not making. I went to a wedding.
Awkward.
I've gone to weddings where like they were playing like 10-minute long songs, and you're like,
They were like,
okay.
November Rain. Here we go.
You're like,
November rain.
by the time you're into like the second refrain, you're like, okay, I need to go get a shot stat.
Oh my God. Yes.
Because there's only so long that you can watch a couple like dance together. unless they're just like amazing dancers and they've got like some choreographed situation happening.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
It's just awkward to watch somebody slow dance for that long. Isn't it? Like,
yes, it
really
is. Especially like when they're just, I maybe it's me and I get uncomfortable with like
too.
loving looks. That's probably also part of why I'm like Chris Pratt, Katherine Schwarzenegger. I'm like,
yeah.
Ew. Like,
you know they did a long, loving
know,
song.
like loving gazes. Picture a couple dancing, like lovingly looking into each other's eyes to that song.
You guys have cold, dead hearts. I'm like,
Get the fuck out of Christina.
Who are you?
Maybe this is relationship ready Christina. Christina 2.0 that has deleted the apps and is ready for love, is looking for the real deal. Holyfield is off of the apps, is off of fuckboys, and is like, I want the long loving look.
Listen, I hope they're happy. I'm just saying, like, there's I think that
I'll take what they have minus the J-Dog. So
and we just lost half of our listeners. You just called Jesus J-Dog.
Dude, come on. We're close like that. We're tight.
Yeah, you're tight.
J-Dog.
Cool.
But you're tight, but you're not like invite you into my bedroom tight.
Exactly.
Like,
we got boundaries.
That was the thing.
So.
I read that article with Chris Pratt where I was like, we pray every time before we have sex. And I'm like,
no.
Don't
my
do
lady boner
that.
just went.
Oh, mine too.
No.
That makes my vagina cry.
And just like
not in the right way.
Not in the right way.
Up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Dry tears.
Sierra down there. So Sahara. Oh, Lord.
That is not foreplay I'm interested in
No,
at all.
I mean, again,
Just
like
bless
whatever
this
works
cock.
for you, but like make it real good, make it last real long.
Make it last real long.
You think they're gonna
Like
pop?
I feel we are sacrilegious right now.
I need to hear I want to hear like the Ricky Bobby version of that prayer.
Oh,
so
my
hard.
God.
Sweet baby Jesus.
Sweet baby Jesus.
Bless the sex we're about to have today. I'm about to lay it down real good. And why do I feel like it's going to be a combination of that and the Wonderlust scene where he's like, put my dick in you, gonna put my dicks in you, going
all up in that bag.
But you know what? I feel like the theme of this like first half of this show right now is like you have to find your other half, because how lucky is it that like Chris Pratt and Katherine Schwarzenegger like found each other, that they're both soups down with that situation.
Yeah.
Because the first time a man would be like, would you like to get on your knees and pray before
I
would be like, I'm
No, thank
leaving
you.
right now.
No, thank you.
I would not.
Yeah,
I would
but
not.
then I've got all my own fucking shit. So people can have a podcast.
Oh,
about
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
all my fucking
I'm not saying I'm better than you at all. Like that's not it. It's like, it's just not for me. That's just not for me. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And again, dog for every Beth.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
That's exactly what this is.
So what we're trying to say is congratulations to Chris Pratt and Katherine Schwarzenegger. We're happy for
Your
you.
gift's on the way, and it's a Bible.
It's the footprints prayer. Yes. Oh no, or that Jesus clock. Jesus, would you look at the time?
Look at the time.
Oh God.
Hilarious. What else is going on? Oh man, yeah, I deleted the apps. We're trying this new thing of like going out into the world and playing soccer on Saturdays.
Brand new Christina, honestly.
I have dance classes on Mondays, going rock climbing on Thursdays. So,
Dude,
doing the damn thing.
I'm doing that.
We're
on
going.
Thursday.
We are going to go rock climbing together. Christina and I are going to hip hop class tomorrow.
Y'all gonna be broke.
Soups nervous. Well, this one is. Oh, you mean our bodies are broken?
Yeah.
I was like, the class is free. I think we're gonna be fine.
Wow, how are you gonna afford that? Jesus,
like that's too much. That's too much working out. I don't know how you guys are gonna be able to afford that.
I'm pretty sore today from soccer yesterday because it's been about I don't know, like year and a half, 2 years.
Didn't go to soccer.
Well, let's go together. I mean, I don't promise that I'll play soccer, but there is a biking trail right there, and I will ride bikes until you guys are done, which is more physical activity than I ever have. So, and when my legs were in like the best shape of my life, it was because I biked like 12 miles a day.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm like, let's do that. Let's do it. I need it. My body is very soft right now. It's uncomfortably soft
So
for me personally.
Looking to get the courage to actually like speak to people in real life, flirt in real life.
Yeah. I love that though.
And
I
like
love
that.
that. I love that.
You know,
I think it's a great
see what
idea.
happens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know what? I just realized, I know that I did this FMK thing, but why don't we do that for patron? Why don't we do an FMK for patron? Because it's Father's Day. I think we should do FMK with our favorite TV dads.
We did that once.
Was it TV dads?
It was,
It was TV moms.
no.
We did moms.
We did with the non-mom happy hour, but I think we put that on Patreon.
Oh.
We put it on Patreon. We did because we did we did Tool Time Taylor.
Oh, that's
Fucking Tim
Oh my
Allen.
God.
Yes.
Yes.
oh, man.
Yes. But that was for Patreon, so we could do it for our regular episode.
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's
That'd
do
be
it.
fun.
Okay, TV
I mean,
We'll,
dads.
we'll pick some different TV dads.
Yeah.
Yeah, TV dads. Okay.
Because we did Uncle Phil.
Oh, that's right.
And yes,
Dude,
okay.
Uncle Phil's the jam.
Yeah.
He's
I
the
love
jam.
them.
He's the jam. Okay, do we want to do it now? Do the FMK
Oh, I
now?
don't have to. I was just
Go
thinking
for it.
about
Yeah, yeah.
Who was my was it Mike shit blah, blah, blah. Back to the Future dude.
Michael J. Fox?
Yeah, what was his dad on that show? What was that show?
Jesus. You
I don't
asked
think
me
I
too
ever.
fast.
I don't think I
liked
ever
him.
it's
saw
not,
that show.
It's not Alan Thicke.
No.
Because that was
Oh.
the other show with Kirk
Also-
Cameron, right?
Yeah.
God, it's hard to find non-problematic ones because I was like, oh, Seventh Heaven dad, but no,
Yeah.
can't do him. Can't
Yeah,
do Bill
yeah.
Cosby.
You got Bob Saget on Full House.
Oh God, come on.
Oh, I'm totally doing it. I'm
Yes,
totally
do
doing
it, do
Full
it.
House Bob
That's
Saget.
hilarious.
Let's make them all problematic then, because I think
Okay.
those are the funniest ones.
We could just
Yeah.
do the three from Full House. Got,
Oh my God.
You got Dave Coulier.
Yep.
You got John Stamos.
Yep.
And you got Bob Saget.
Yep. But I mean, it's the easiest kill,
Is it?
or is it? You're right.
I don't know if it is. I mean, there's only one that I would want to
Okay.
get down with on
I'm
that.
I'm gonna
show.
hot take this shit.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
I'm gonna marry Jesus. Why am I blanking today? What's his name?
Dave Coulier.
Nope, the other one.
John Stamos.
John Stamos.
Okay.
Because I want to get it on with him a lot.
Yes. Amen.
Yep.
That mullet was really working
I'm gonna
it.
fuck Bob Saget, motherfuckers, because he seems
You know
cray.
he's dirty.
He seems
Yeah.
dirty and
Yes.
fuckboyish. I ain't gonna tell nobody about it. It's gonna be quiet. We're gonna carry it deep down, buried deep
Have
inside.
you ever seen
And I'm fucking killing Dave Coulier,
Yeah.
and that's for my girl. That's for my girl.
that
right there.
Atlantis? Yeah,
Yes.
you take him out for Atlantis.
That's I do.
Have you ever seen Parks and Rec? You haven't. You have, right?
Yeah, I've seen a few
I
episodes.
feel like Bob Saget would be the kind who would be like Jam. Did you ever watch the later episodes where he's just like so gross? Councilman Jam. He's like, just got
Yes.
jammed. Like, I feel
Just
like
got jammed.
that's what Bob Saget would be like after you guys have had sex and you run into each other
Ew.
in like
Yeah.
public, where he's kind of like, hey,
Nope.
hey girl, like, you know what's up. And you're like,
No, I
head
don't.
down,
I
blinders
don't,
on.
sir. I don't. What was your name?
Don't
I
make
don't
eye
know you.
contact.
I'm going to marry Bob Saget.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Oh,
I think he's dirty, weird, and smart, and just I don't know. I'm just like I'll marry you.
I think that's the hottest take.
yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
I'm going to I like to play around and that sort of thing. I feel like he would keep me entertained.
Oh, he sure
So,
would.
I think he would. And also, it's funny that we're talking about Bob Saget like this because, like,
It's so
if
gross.
we're
It's so
talking
gross.
about, like,
Him
Full
in Full
House,
House,
he was,
he's
like,
squeaky
shiny.
clean.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, the squeakiest of cleans, they always
The dirtiest.
the
that man,
dirtiest.
in that Full house, there
Yeah.
was a sex engine in there somewhere.
Ew.
A hidden wall,
Yeah, it was actually the book case. You just opened that shit up, and it was like, yep,
whips and
It's on.
chains.
yeah, yeah. Had his own red room.
Yeah. And I'm gonna fuck Dave Coulier.
What?
Ew.
This is the hottest take of all
Yeah,
time.
this is the hottest take.
I
I don't even know what to do with this.
not think John Stamos is hot.
Well,
at
you're
all.
wrong. So
I'm sorry, you were
you were
just
just
wrong.
wrong.
I just don't. I don't.
This isn't even an agree to disagree moment. This
No,
is you're
it's
just
just wrong.
I'm sorry.
I don't know. There's just something about John Stamos that does not turn me
It's
on.
just too hot for you.
Maybe.
Well, I think
You're like,
that
he's a
there's-
10 and I don't like 10s.
Exactly.
I think that there's
Where I'm
a
just
thing
like,
about
ugh.
John Stamos where John Stamos really knows he's hot, and like that's not super attractive.
Oh, I don't see that about him,
I see it. I see it because like he knew he was the hot one on that show, like for sure. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it was constantly called out, and that has got to go to your head after so long.
Yeah.
And then he married Rebecca Romaine, which is like, could you marry a hotter person?
Nope.
Like you guys were like the hottest.
They were the hottest couple.
Yeah. But I can see that, Christina,
Yeah.
how like
I
that
was just
energy is not super attractive all the time.
No, give me a quiet, unassuming, dorky 7 or 8 any day.
He looks like a
Well,
2
Dave
in
Coulier,
bed.
it's like,
I can't believe you're going to fuck him. Like, that is like a 2 in the bedroom. You know. Oh.
I mean,
He finished already. He just walked in the door. He's like, oh, I'm sorry. But it's sorry because he's Canadian. Oh, I'm sorry.
Listen, we have lots of Canadian
I know,
listeners.
I know.
Tell us what you think about that. But
Oh my God.
I mean, I do think it's a hot take, not because I don't think there's anything wrong with if he was good enough for Atlantis,
I
he's
feel
good
like
enough for
Dave
me.
Coulier would appreciate.
He wasn't good enough for Atlantis. So that's the fucking
I
problem.
feel like Dave Coulier would appreciate fucking me more than John Stamos would.
Yes.
Do you know what I
that's
mean?
True. Yeah, John Stamos is
don't
going to
know.
fuck you and act like it's a favor, I feel like.
Correct.
Except that when he got there, he'd know it wasn't a fuck. He was getting the fucking favor.
Yeah, he'd
That's
go into
exactly
it
damn right.
thinking it was a favor, and then after he'd be like, "Oh my god, I think
And
I was
that's what
just
I
blessed."
want to do to him. And that's what I want to do to him.
but
I
what-
want him to know.
What I think is the hot take about this is not that you want to fuck Dave Coulier,
Right.
Well, no, I mean it kind of is. It's that like it's that to me. I would think that you would reverse
crying
Dave Coulier and Bob Saget. Like
that
I
I
would
would
marry Dave Coulier
No,
before Bob
because
Saget.
here's the thing. I'll fuck Dave Coulier, who would be very appreciative, and you're right, he would be like, "Ugh," but I don't want to marry that energy. Do you know what I mean? Because
Sure,
I want you to
that
be
very
a little bit more
grateful energy. Okay.
more confident. And Bob Saget's like,
Also, I want to break your
confident.
heart when you leave because you know it was
Oh
the
my
best sex
God.
he's ever had. And he's like, God damn it.
And
But
he'll
it
always
seems like
think
he
about.
broke
Yep.
Atlantis' heart, though. Like, and how do you break? She's a bad bitch. Like, he's got to have something going on that like made her snap like
I'm
that.
going to say, I ain't got nothing I want.
Oh, I mean, maybe there's something happening there because I'm just like to make her write a song like that. I'm like,
Yeah,
she
You know
was
what,
real
though?
upset.
like iconic. Yeah.
But also, too, I mean, that album helped me through many a breakup.
oh,
Yeah.
Jagged Little Pill.
Oh.
Yeah.
So thank you, Dave Coulier.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sir. Thank
Yeah.
you.
You know, I
And
think
here's your thank you sex.
Yes. I think I'm gonna align with Cassie on this one. I think maybe because
Oh, no,
that
I
whole
know I'm on an
conversation-
island.
No, that conversation actually just made me think like maybe I do want to fuck Dave Coulier just to see what that situation's about. Like maybe it is like I think he might get down crazy because she is talking about scratching nails down his back and shit. So I'm like
Yeah.
maybe that
I mean,
shit
have
is
you
bananas.
guys
She went down
ever
on him in a theater. For
Yeah,
Christ's
I'm
sake.
just saying maybe he's wild, like, and you just don't know.
have you guys ever been with someone where you're like, this is gonna be like vanilla, or this is gonna be like
This is
one
fine.
way, and then you're like, oh
No, I mean,
Yeah.
and okay, all right,
Yeah.
all right,
where you're just
all right,
like,
all right.
holy
Yeah.
shit,
Okay.
where did this
Yep.
energy, this dick, this fucking incredible dick come from? Where
I
you're
am
like,
going
I was
to-
not expecting this.
All right, I take it back. I am going to mix it up. I
Okay.
am going to marry John Stamos just because I feel like once you've got that locked down, then you can tame down that like cocky energy.
Yeah, I like
so
it.
I'm gonna marry John Stamos. I'm gonna fuck Dave Coulier because I just want to know. I just want to
Do you
know.
just want to know.
I do.
You ought to know.
I do. I
Yeah.
ought to know
You
what's
ought to know.
going on there. So I think I'm going to do that just out of just pure curiosity.
Right.
So I'm going to do that.
Cannot wait
and
to see the lineup.
I'm going to kill Bob Saget.
I'm gonna find the dorkiest picture of Coulier. Just fuck with you guys.
Oh, God.
I'm okay
Oh my
with
God.
it.
What if he, I want to see a recent picture. What if there was a glow up? Oh my God. Can we please?
Well, Saget
like,
definitely
pause.
did not have a glow up.
No, he looks like he did a lot of cocaine.
Oof. He probably did.
He did. That's a lot of his stand-up was just like he's fucking bananas.
I mean, he does look good.
How do you
and
even
look,
spell his name?
Coulier.
Oh, there it is.
I'm behind.
Yeah, I mean, he's aight. He's just, you know who he reminds me of? And you can block this
Oh,
out.
it's not bad.
You know who he reminds me of? Is Gabe.
Oh, I see that.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, look at this picture.
Here's the three of them. Yeah. Oh, that's the most Gabe face ever.
Oh, I don't
Eber?
like that. This is he's kind of big-headed.
Looks like Gabe.
He kind of does. Oh, I don't know what that says about me.
John Stamos is hot. I'm sorry. You are just wrong. Look at him.
Jesus
Let me
Christ.
see.
Look at this
You're
man.
just wrong.
Yeah. No, I don't like it. I don't like it.
You're crazy.
I don't like it.
You're crazy. Look, the two of them together, and you're gonna fucking tell me.
I know.
Right goddamn now.
I'm not. I'm more
To my
attracted to.
face, you're telling us that.
I will tell you to your face. Looking at that picture, I'm gonna go for Dave Coulier.
Okay, we're putting that in our Instagram story. Screenshot that right now. We're putting that in our Instagram story and doing a poll. I
know I'm in the minority here, but like I do not find him attractive at all. It's something about his energy, his eyes and stuff, and I'm just like, I don't.
His eyes do look like maybe he's killed someone.
Right.
He does have kind of like
maybe
very,
in this picture.
very intense
And
eyes.
you know what? I'll say in this picture, it's kind of a toss up for me.
Right?
It's because he's doing Zoolander face.
And Dave Coulier has glasses on, and I kind of love that look. All right.
Chuck is being a little bit crazy right now, which is so cute. But yeah, no, I know I've got the hot take this week, but I'm standing by it.
Right. I like that we have different answers though.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I stand by mine too. I want to know what's happening there. I want to know. Also, he's from Canada, so I feel like he could like squirrel me away. If necessary, he could like.
I see what you're saying.
If things go all handmaids in this country, I feel like he can get me out.
Yeah,
exactly.
So there's that.
All right. Well, should we take 5 and come back with stories?
Yes. And we're back. So we were like looking through our Instagram, kind of like kicking it for like a little short break before we went into stories. And I was scrolling through my Discover page and I saw this thing. Cuba Gooding Jr. has been charged with groping a woman at a New York nightclub.
Ew. Yikes.
Eek. Guys, just do the Keanu and keep your fucking hands to yourself.
Oh my God.
Like,
what a fucking king that guy is.
A prize. He's a national treasure. Like there are so many pictures of him posing with women where his hands are like out and visible.
Can I
he's
tell
just,
you
like,
why?
And just being respectful.
Let's go through the list why Keanu Reeves is literally my dream man.
He is, yes.
He, first of all, is a broken, tortured,
sad boy.
Sad boy.
He is.
You love that.
He fell in love and his love died. And
oh my God. And he never loved again.
he
He's like
never
a Bronte
loved
novel.
again.
He
I'm
really
like,
is.
I'm getting
I
heated.
just want to fix you.
He just like rides off on his motorcycle into the sunset.
He reads.
He reads.
He is a philanthropist. He
He's
donates
hot.
a lot of his money. He's hot.
Yeah.
He's mega hot.
He respects women.
Oh my God.
This man
is a king.
Have you met my friend Christina?
I know.
I know.
You know what? Like he lives in this city. We can find him.
I know.
There's been so many. Like there was a popular Twitter hashtag that was going around for a while that was like Keanu encounters of like people who have like telling stories because he's like the best person. Like people telling.
I know.
stories.
He's like helped people like on this like stuck on the side of the road.
Yeah,
and just,
he's like
he's
paid
just,
for
like,
people's medical, like
Yeah.
who have been like on the crew. He gave a ton of his money
From
to the
Matrix.
crew of Matrix.
Yeah.
Like it's insane. He's amazing. So yeah, I mean, Keanu, 51-year-old man. This man was at a New York City nightclub, and
Cuba, you mean?
Cuba. Yes, sorry. Back to Cuba. He was charged on Thursday with 1 count of misdemeanor forcible touching, which I didn't even know was a thing.
Yeah.
Because a
Gross.
woman, a 29-year-old woman, went in and was like, drunk Cuba grabbed my breasts.
Nope.
No.
Don't like that.
And obviously it was disturbing enough that like she went into the police station and was like, hey, this was really not cool. So Cuba, I guess, turned himself in, but then is denying all allegations. And I guess there's surveillance tape. So we'll find out.
Oh,
We
geez.
will find out. But
Sir.
anyway, I read that and I was like, we should share that information.
Yeah.
Nope. I actually didn't know that you could be like, hey, this fucking drunk guy grabbed my tits without, and that it was a thing called forcible touching.
Wow.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
that's new info.
It is a form of like sexual assault. It's just one that this is how sad it is that it never would have crossed my mind to do that, because I just wouldn't assume anyone would take that seriously at all.
Right.
Like I've definitely been touched
like
very inappropriately at like clubs and things. Like, so it's just not anything that I ever would have thought to go to the police about, because I would think that they'd just be like, who cares? Get out of here.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Do you think if he wasn't famous, they would be like, who cares?
Ooh.
I don't know.
Interesting
I'm always
take.
inclined to believe that when someone is famous, they're more likely to be like, it's fine. Because he's famous and he's got the power and the money and the all that stuff. So I'm surprised that they would like.
Yeah, but Cuba doesn't have anything.
I mean, he was just in OJ. Like that was just like 2 years ago. He had to have made some. He's a terrible OJ. Why was he cast as OJ Simpson?
That was the worst.
It was because that show was good otherwise.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. Anyways,
Stories.
oh my God, who is the woman that played Marsha Clark in that?
Sarah Paulson. She's
So
Fucking
amazing.
Perfection. She was the best part
Did
of
you
that
know
show.
she's married to Holland? What's her name? Her wife is like 30 years older than her.
Right.
She's like a famous. She's a famous actress.
Yes.
And when they talk about each other, it's really, really cute.
It is.
sickening.
Okay, well,
Yes,
I
exactly.
have the first story because I've got the crazy in love later, and this one came in through our email. It's called Teenage Breakup Love Story.
Love it.
Teenage
Already.
Mutant Ninja Turtles.
She goes, I can't think of a good fake name for this guy, so I'll let you pick one yourself.
Brad.
Great. I have been dating, insert backwoods hillbilly fuckboy name, Brad.
Oh no.
No, just kidding. Just kidding. Bonus, we're from the Midwest.
Yay.
Anyways, I have been dating Brad on and off throughout high school and his first year of college. I was a smitten kitten. I had known him since we were in the first grade, and after a little bit of, I think somebody said that Brad likes you, we eventually started dating.
I love that.
He even gave me my first kiss in the park behind the school.
Oh.
We broke up once freshman year. I dumped him. We broke up once senior year. He dumped me.
Oh no.
Well, we're even.
Even Steven.
Steven.
He wanted to quit college and join the military and didn't want that to keep me from following my dreams. Rolls eyes so hard because he just wanted some new pussy.
Yeah.
This breakup lasted all of 3 weeks until we made up and got nasty in his 97 Ford pickup.
Hey. Hey, girl.
Yes.
We got needs.
So then Brad came home for the summer and my spidey senses were tingling. Things just were not right. You know when you can feel a shift in a person's behavior. I'm going to put a pin in that because it's the same as like you walk your dog every day. You notice like if something is just slightly different, something's just off.
Yes.
You're like, this isn't, there's a rhythm, there's a pattern, there's something that's off. And the same thing is if you're in a fucking relationship with somebody, and I hate that you're like, is everything okay? And they're like, no, it's fine. And you're like, and then you kind of press on it and they're like, you're acting crazy.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
they gaslight
don't
you.
fucking gaslight me. Like I fucking can observe behavior. I've been around you for a decade or whatever.
Right.
I'm like, I know
When something's
when
off.
something's off. And can we stop gaslighting people for that? So anyways, she says he pulled back and we weren't talking as much as usual. I texted him and asked him to meet me so we could talk. He insisted on knowing what I wanted to talk about, but I wouldn't.
That's suspicious.
Yes.
You are hiding something if you're that nervous.
But I wouldn't let on, so we made plans to meet the next night. The next day, I asked him repeatedly what time he'd come around, and all I got back was, I don't know yet, babe. He was completely ignoring me. I waited until almost 1 a.m. and left him a couple of voicemails, but he never showed. So I obviously called my best friend, who happens to be my go-to internet stalker.
Amen.
My Captain Snoopy Pants.
Yes.
And bitch came through.
Yes.
Turns out this motherfucker was cheating with 5 other girls
Holy
in
shit.
multiple
Out.
states.
Oh my God.
This guy's going federal because he's crossing state lines.
He sure is, man.
Dude, that's not okay. One of them was my next door neighbor. One of them was at college.
That's fucking bold.
And one of
Close to
them-
home.
One of them was a halfway point between home and college.
Oh my God.
So he's like, got one here, got one on the way, got one when I get there.
She says, dude couldn't even make an 8-hour drive without stopping to get some.
Oh.
He's like, I'm going to pull off at the gas station and there's this
some
chick.
pussy.
Yeah. Fuck you, Brad. I never confronted him and I never heard from him again. I did, however, talk to his dad.
Uh-oh.
His dad always had kind of a soft spot for me. So after all this went down, we had a little chat. And yes, I did let him know just how much of a piece of shit his son was.
Yes.
He was very calm about it. And he said he would, quote unquote, handle it.
Oh.
When a Midwestern dad is like, I got
this.
it.
I
Don't
got
worry
this.
about it. You're like,
He's getting
shit.
spanked. Ooh, he's in so much trouble.
Ooh, he in
Yeah.
trouble?
7 months later, Brad randomly added me on Snapchat. I promptly blocked him.
Yeah.
Sidebar Nation, my best friend's boyfriend also cheated with Halfway Point Girl.
Halfway Point Girl, how is she getting these guys' number?
I know. Well, and now they're married.
Oh.
So-
that took a turn.
Also, all of this happened on National Best Friends Day. So cheers to her because we all need a Captain Snoopy pants in our
Amen.
lives.
Yeah.
So hold on. Is this the same girl who's on Facebook? She's in our Facebook group.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm just going to throw this out there because she said she forgot to add it to this story.
Oh,
and it's,
no, this is a different.
Oh, it's a different girl.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Never mind. Disregard.
Disregard.
Disregard that. We'll save that for later.
But yeah, I just, oh my God. That to me is funny where he's just like, I got one in college, I got one on the way, and I got one right next door to you, bitch.
I just want to know, like, who, and we've discussed this before, but like, I understand he was young and you got a lot more energy back then.
Right.
But like, who
That's
has
a lot of energy.
the time? Yeah, it takes time. It takes energy. Are you flunking out of all of your classes? Like,
Correct.
How do you have this kind of like bandwidth
Yeah.
for this? Like,
Yeah.
5?
I don't have the bandwidth for a relationship, let alone multiple ones.
Legit. I mean, we just talked about it. I'm like in one relationship and I still need I need one night by myself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, how?
Imagine
How?
having 5.
No, you have no you time.
I know.
None. Okay. All right. So this is an email that we got. It says, and I think that this is from Welcome to My Show, and we've done a few of hers.
Awesome.
So she says, "Hey, ladies. My coworker was having a party/bonfire at her house, and she really wanted me to meet her cousin and thought we'd hit it off. We were all pretty intoxicated by the time Tyler showed up. Fake name, I think. I love that there are like some names that are so generic that you're like, it could be.
Could be.
Yeah. Seems right.
I was not attracted to him at all, even in my drunk state. He was about my height, 5'9" or so, and super lanky and gangly and just weak looking.
I fucking know this.
You're like, you're not picking me up during sex.
No.
No.
You're going to snap a wrist trying to like lift me up. You're not wheelbarrowing me anywhere. But he was very nice, a little quiet, but very polite and endearing. I spent a lot of time with him that night, chatting and drinking. He eventually told me that he had a 10-year-old daughter. I was a little surprised because he looked so young, but it turns out that he was 32. But okay, fine, whatever. I'm drunk. I don't care. He later asked...
Cool story.
Whatever. Yeah, that's fine.
Don't care.
He later asked if I wanted to stay at his place that night, and since I didn't want to drive home drunk, I agreed. He told me that his daughter was with her friend for the night, so that alleviated some of the potential awkwardness. Mm-hmm. Amen. We were both tired, and he was too polite to try anything, so we went right to his bed and fell asleep. Early in the morning, I was woken up in a way I would never wish upon my worst enemy.
Oh, no.
Not with a boner poking me in the back. Not a dog slobbering on my face. I was elbowed in the stomach by 2 10-year-old girls. Apparently, when he said she's with her friend tonight, he meant she and her friend are having a sleepover in my home, and they will viciously attack you in the morning.
Oh, no. I'm getting chills. This is literally my nightmare right now.
Yeah, some kids, like some guy's kid and her friend, how awkward would that be? Like you're with their dad in their bed.
In the
Christina
bed.
is visibly hugging
She's
herself.
like protecting herself in this situation. This attack went on for many minutes. I love that she calls it an attack. I was so confused and was screaming, "What's going on? What's happening?" All while being repeatedly kneed, elbowed, and literally jumped on.
She's being
like
forcibly
a
touched.
trampoline.
Yeah.
You can go to
what
the
the
Yeah,
fuck?
that's assault.
That's forcibly touching. Get them off me. Please.
Seriously, get them off her. Like,
Yes.
be a parent. You need to step in. What are you
10
doing?
years old too. That's too old to be
To
playing
be
that kind
behaving
of
this
Yeah.
way. And I'm also going to point out this girl's got her father's lanky, bony physique.
So them elbows she throwing hurt.
And was using that to her advantage as she drove her elbows into my rib cage.
The fuck?
I'm honestly surprised I made it out alive and only with a few bruises.
Oh my God.
So they were attacking her hard enough to it left bruises. While this was happening, Tyler is calmly talking to his daughter in a weird baby voice, saying things like, "Good morning, sweetie.
Nope.
This is Michelle. Tell her good morning."
Oh,
No.
no.
It was so creepy.
No.
At that point, I curled up in a ball under a blanket, protecting my vital organs. The girls eventually wore themselves out and told me they were hungry and it was time for me to make them breakfast.
Get the
fucked. Get fucked. Oh my God.
I was not about to play 21-year-old stepmom to this future serial killer and his friend and her friend. I sternly told them no, and Tyler's daughter threw a tantrum. I didn't have my car, so I went outside and sat on the front step until my coworker, Tyler's cousin, came to get me. I told her all about my morning and thanked her sarcastically for setting me up with her weird cousin. She thought it was hilarious and told me she didn't even know he had a kid.
What? That's your fucking cousin.
They were like fifth cousins who had just recently met, apparently. But still,
No,
I'm like, you
any
don't
of
start hooking people up until you know at least the barest
Correct.
minimum of their life.
Yes.
You don't know him then. You can't hook him up with your friends.
No.
Yes.
She says, "Cool, very cool. I did not see him ever again. I have a date tonight with someone off Plenty of Fish, so depending on how that goes, you may or may not be hearing from me soon."
Oh no.
God. Anyway,
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
See, I don't know what I'm hoping for here. Like
Yeah.
a great story or just like that everything went well.
A little bit of both.
A little bit both, like low key, yeah. Anyway, see you later in the My Worst Date Facebook group. You have created an awesome community where all sorts of people can relate to and console each other over your bad dating stories. And I love you guys for that. Love, Michelle.
Oh my God. Yay.
So sweet.
That is the sweetest.
I love that. Yeah, it's just a reminder, I know we don't really ask for this that often, but if you're listening, tell a friend that you love the show or introduce them to the My Worst Date group. That's how it's grown. And, by you guys inviting your friends and telling your friends about it. And we are so grateful for the community and, we love you guys. So we're sure we'll love your friends too. So tell them about it.
It was really cool. We had I did a status in there this week asking just where everybody is from. And it was really, really, really cool to see everybody kind of commenting with their location and where they listen from. And I'm just like, oh, I just feel so
it's so cool. It'd be like, oh my
It's
God,
so cool.
Ireland and Australia
Yeah.
and Canada and just so many places even around the US where I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah, it's
this is
awesome.
amazing.
It's super awesome. And I know that that's only happened because people have shared with their friends. And that's, if you're ever thinking oh, I can't donate to their Patreon or anything like that, but you want to do something.
Oh yeah, we get it.
Just tell your friends. That's the best thing that you could do.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, we love it so much.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So my message came to us through our My Worst Date podcast website. Wow.
Awesome.
I can't words today. I'm real struggling here. All right. It says, "Hey guys, your podcast is amazing. I have a hard time listening to relationship podcasts because I get bored, but I love how much you guys talk about I think there probably should have been something there. And I love your crazy in loves.
Yay.
So I wanted to share my worst date. A tiny bit of backstory. I am enrolled in a medical program currently, and I'm taking a cram course to get my master's. So I go to school Monday.
Girl.
Yeah, right? Good for you.
Boss bitch.
Yes, exactly. So I go to school Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, with tests every week. So I'm usually having to study or do homework on weekends. In addition to that, I have a part-time job, so my social life is practically non-existent. One day, I realized I'd been so focused on school that I haven't been on a date or had sex in over 6 months. Ooh. And that's probably the reason I'd been a little grouchy lately.
Yep.
So
I totally get that.
So I downloaded Bumble.
Yep.
I matched with this guy and we started talking. He was really nice and funny, so we agreed to meet up. I had him meet me at a coffee house, assuming we would go in and that would be our date. He thought that was just where we were meeting and wanted to take me out for dinner. He insisted that he drove, but I still thank God every day that I declined and took my own car.
Yeah. Fucking red flags, sirens going off. Don't
Good
like
for you,
that.
girl.
Yep.
Always take your own car.
Yep.
If we give no advice other than that.
Well, I mean, and especially like if you already said you wanted to meet, if you already said that you wanted to meet for coffee,
yeah,
and he's like, no, I want to take you to dinner. It's like, what? Why didn't we discuss this beforehand? Like, to me, that's weird. Yeah, I don't like it.
I like to be prepared.
Weird vibes.
Yeah.
So he told me to follow him to the restaurant. I was still relatively unfamiliar with the area, and the fact that he had at least chosen a place was good enough for me. That is, we've said that before.
We've said that.
Yeah.
I'm actually kind of like, wow, it's this guy. Like, it kind of weirds me out because not only did he like choose a place, but it just feels like so sprung up. I'm like, are you leading me to my death? Like,
Right.
Yeah. I know. I like
this is so unusual.
Yeah. So out of the blue. Yeah. So I was fine with this, except we pulled into the parking lot of a bank. I got out of the car to see what was going on, and he says, "Oh, I just need to exchange all my coins in the bank real quick.
No.
It won't take long."
No.
He opened.
If it won't take long, why the fuck didn't you do this before we went on a date?
Yeah.
Like, what?
He opens his back seat, and there are 2 Tupperware containers of change.
No.
One is the size of a brownie tray, and the other is the size of a large sandwich Tupperware, completely filled with coins. I offered to help him just to be polite.
Like unrolled fucking loose change.
Loose
I mean, I know
change.
people who do this, but I'm just like, listen,
Go
that's
to
a
fucking Coinstar, dude.
and that's a you thing. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, that's a you on your own. Don't
This is
pull
not a
other
first
people.
date activity.
No, you
No.
need to not pull other people into this shit.
Yeah.
No.
Oh my God. I'm
So-
so weirded out right now.
I offer to help him just to be polite, and guess which one he hands me?
The bigger one.
I don't know if you've ever felt a large container of change before, but that sucker is heavy. I lost grip on it because I wasn't expecting it to be so heavy, and it fell on the ground, and the lid popped off. Luckily, the whole thing didn't spill. Just a bunch of coins off the top popped off. I couldn't have been more than $2 worth. He is legit mad at me for dropping this. He bends down and picks up the coins. I'm just standing there confused and ready to bolt, but he picks it all up and hands me a huge container back to me.
Oh my
while he
God.
carries
Back to her.
the tiny one. I suggest I take the small one this time, and he agrees. So we get into the bank where he pours over $150 worth of change into the change machine on our first date.
Oh my God.
On our way out, I found a dime on the ground. I picked it up and said, "Oops, we forgot one," thinking it would be funny, but it wasn't. He goes, "God damn it, I'll just take it." He takes the dime from my hand and gets back in the car. I follow him to the restaurant, and turns out his idea of a first date is Friendlies. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
I mean, Friendlies is legit delicious,
It
but
is.
Yeah, but you got $150. You're going to take me to Friendlies?
I mean,
motherfucker?
and you took me to Friendlies after I had already suggested we just go for coffee.
Right.
Right.
So I'm like, if you're going to take me to dinner, take me to dinner then.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
why would you take me to Friendlies?
Thank you for finding this restaurant.
I mean,
I'm
they
so
do have
glad.
really good Nutter Butter, like ice cream sandwiches there.
You're like,
But, yeah.
He asked if I'd ever been, and I said, I think once when I was like 10.
Sorry, can I just throw one thing? Can I sidebar real fast? I once bought a chicken in the parking lot of a Friendlies. That's the most Midwest
like-
thing I've ever done.
Wait.
A live chicken?
chicken?
Yes, I did.
To do what with?
To give my mom for
Oh.
Christmas because my mom had chickens. And she needed a chicken. She wanted another chicken because one of her chickens had just gotten eaten by a raccoon.
Oh
my God.
This is the most Midwestern
So
story I've ever
I
heard.
got on Craigslist.
Oh, no.
Oh no.
Found somebody who was selling a chicken. It was a silky chicken. And he wanted to meet to exchange
Oh,
the chicken
no.
for money in a Friendlies parking lot.
Oh my God.
So I did. I bought a chicken in a Friendlies parking lot. Just the
Amazing.
most Midwest thing I've ever done.
The
Sorry,
most.
proceed.
There we go.
Okay. She said, I think I've been once when I was like 10, and he replies, they have the best milkshakes here.
They do.
This grown man orders fried mac and cheese bites as his appetizer and dinner. For dinner, chicken tenders and an Oreo milkshake.
Oh my God.
He was funny and super nice to the server.
He is living his best 12-year-old boy life.
I want to know if he dipped those fried mac and cheese balls in ketchup. Like,
oh yeah,
God.
for
you
sure
know he did.
But he's funny and super nice to the server and tipped well. And other than the drama at the coin place, he was really nice to me. So when he asked if I wanted to go back to his place and that his roommates were out of town, so we'd have the house to ourselves, I thought about the fact that I haven't had sex in 6 months and said yes, okay,
get it.
So we get to his house and he took me downstairs to his bedroom, which I then realized was a finished basement, but it was nicer than the whole house, so I wasn't judging. But I asked why he didn't have a bedroom or a living room upstairs, and he told me his room was just better. I didn't care enough to ask any more questions because I knew I'd never see him again. We started making out and he was a good kisser, so I had high hopes for the rest of the night. The room was dark, so I really couldn't see, but I reached down to touch him, and I'm not even kidding you guys. His penis was so small. This dude was 6 foot tall and kind of stocky, so I wasn't expecting that. I didn't even know they came that small on adult men. Oh my God.
No.
Next thing I know, he's inside me. I can't feel him pretty much at all. He was just flopping around on me. I was just about to tell him he needed to stop, and I wasn't into it, but he yells, "I'm going to come," so loudly it made my heart race. Immediately after, he gets up, takes off the condom, puts on his clothes, walks upstairs without saying a word. I was just sitting on his bed naked and wondering what was going on, so I just put my clothes back on and get my stuff together to leave. He comes back down with a leftover hoagie, 1 bag of chips, and a lemonade for him.
Oh my
He sits
God.
on his bed, puts on Family Guy, and starts eating before swallowing his half masticated hoagie roll around in his mouth. He says, "Did you come?" Oh, God. I just shook my head to him and said, "No, I did not." He just shrugged and said, "Maybe next time." To which I replied, "I think I should go." He was literally pouring chips from the bag into his mouth and says, "Okay,
God.
babe." I walked up the stairs, and while I'm walking to the front door, something catches my eye. I turn around and see an old lady in a nightgown. My first thought was, ghost.
Terrifying.
Ghost. I watch too many horror movies.
No.
But she must have seen the look of confusion on my face because she says, "I assume Brian didn't tell you that he lives with his grandparents." No, Brian did not tell me that.
He just screamed about coming.
Oh my.
And I love,
fucking
also, can we
God.
talk about people who refer to their parents or grandparents as roommates?
Oh.
Because he literally was like, "My roommates are out of town."
And they were clearly.
G-Ma's there.
That's your grandma.
G-Mama.
No.
She's like, I started to feel like this was a real quote grandma's boy situation that I could not be less interested in. I apologized over and over while walking out the door and dashing to my car. He texted me a few times since, but I never responded.
Nope.
It will always be a hilarious story to tell, though.
Oh my God. I have chills. Like that whole thing.
Have we all
so-
we've all been screwed like that, right?
Oh.
We've all had that.
With
It just
non-existent
feels
dick.
like it just feels like mashing.
Yeah.
That situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then just the treatment afterwards, I'm like, oh my God, I feel like I'm 23 all over again.
Yeah, I have to say that his like size is actually probably
The least cringy.
Yeah.
a
part.
cringy thing
Yeah.
about that story. Like it's like the way that whenever you're treated like that after having sex,
yeah.
like that is the worst. Especially if like you've never been in this place before. Like how
The first,
it's so
first time
fucking
is
awkward.
always awkward.
it's
and
so inconsiderate
uncomfortable.
too.
And
It's
here's
just
the
so
thing.
inconsiderate.
I will say about penis size, because I know we talked about this before, is like
Right.
it's like a puzzle piece. There's a
Right.
penis pussy match out there somewhere.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Like
Well, there's also I've had plenty of great sex with guys that were less endowed, you know, because it's
to come and,
it's
like-
other stuff that and it's
right, absolutely.
you know what I
And-
mean?
and,
There's-
you know, some people know how to work it.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
they know how to like,
and they also
really
know how to
use it.
not come before you've got yours.
Right.
Like, I mean, he's clearly just out for his own.
Well,
It's a selfish
the entire date was all about like him and his needs. He's like, we're gonna run some errands. I know you said you wanted to go on a coffee date, but I don't want to do that, so we're gonna do this.
I
other
want an
thing.
Oreo fucking shake.
Yeah. We're gonna
and I don't want to go alone
because I want to come, and then I'm gonna go eat my leftover Subway.
Yeah,
like that's what I want to do.
Yeah,
like
at my roommate's.
Ew. And like, I like screamed whenever you talked about the like looking over and there's an old lady in a nightgown. I'm just like, ghosts. Maybe it's because we just talked about misery, but I'm like, no,
you're gonna get murdered.
Run away.
Oh my god. That is so fucking funny.
I am ready for your crazy in love.
Oh, I'm so ready. I'm so stoked about this.
Well, you got a little teaser trailer last night.
Very excited. So I got really inspired by Cassie's story last week, kind of like going outside the box with Charles Manson. And so I was kind of thinking through this week what I wanted to do. And I usually pull up YouTube, and my YouTube is chock full of different like Datelines and 48 Hours and all kinds of stuff. But one of the things that came up that I had forgotten I'd watched like last year at one point was an HBO documentary.
The Thought Crimes one?
Thought Crimes.
Oh my God. I started it really, really late at night. So I watched about half of it, and I don't think I ever finished it, but it's great.
It's bananas. Yeah. So this is the story of Gilberto Valle and his wife, Kathleen. He is known as the Cannibal Cop.
I remember when this story broke. It was like, I followed this story because I was like, this is
wild,
insane.
Right. And it's very recent. So I'll go ahead and get started. Okay. Gilberto Valle was 25 years old, still living with his father in Queens when in 2009 he met Kathleen Mangan on OkCupid. So he was a cop at a precinct in West Harlem. She was new in town. She was a young Teach for America recruit at an elementary school in East Harlem. And they got super serious, super fast. So they met off of OkCupid. Which
have you tried this one yet? Okay.
No, I have not. We've gotten stories from OkCupid, and then after reading this, I was like, that's definitely on my nose.
I've heard it's a step up from Plenty of Fish.
Plenty of fish.
Yeah.
Wow.
So they moved to a 1-bedroom apartment. They get a pet, a bulldog that they train together, and things get really serious because she gets pregnant shortly afterwards.
Oh,
so
they're going right to
it. And she even says there's not a lot of interviews with her, obviously, with things that happen, but there's enough to piece together. And the reason why I felt it was crazy in love is I want you guys to put yourself in Kathleen's shoes. So I'm going to kind of tell the story from her point of view.
Sure.
She meets a guy on OkCupid. He's a cop. Things get serious. They move in together. He's a really nice, kind of cute, quiet guy or whatever. And they're getting their new apartment. They got a pet. She gets pregnant. And all of a sudden things change.
Oh.
She's also new to this area. And so sometimes in that situation, it can feel like the other person has the like upper hand, like the advantage because he's been there.
Yeah.
He's got the relationships. You're new. So you rely on him probably for a lot.
Right. Yeah. Right. But they end up getting married shortly, like after that. And like when she told him that she was pregnant, he was like, I can't do this. But then he like came around to it. So she's used to him being a cop. He works longer hours. Mm-hmm. He gets home like around midnight and then like would join her in bed. But slowly like that starts to change. Like he's staying up when he gets home and getting on the internet. And it gets like longer and longer and longer. And she's becoming like really suspicious.
Sure. And concerned. I'm sure.
Concerned. Yeah. Especially because she's pregnant and then she has the kid and it's becoming more like he's staying up till 5 a.m.
Oh.
And just completely ignoring her, not helping out with the kid at all.
Also, like for your psyche, you're a cop during the day and then you're staying up till 5 on the internet. Like when are you sleeping?
When are you sleeping?
That's not good.
And she starts searching at this time on the computer. She starts searching how to get my husband to love me again. Or why doesn't my husband love me anymore? And I'm just like,
internet searches of all time.
Exactly. So while she's doing that, she notices another fucking red flag is that search histories are being cleared.
Oh shit. And he thinks he's so smart. Going through and deleting histories. Like the rest of your behavior is so fucking suspicious that clearly she went in and checked the history to notice that it was being cleared.
Correct.
Like,
and that's what we were talking about. It's like if you know somebody, you know when something's fucking off.
Absolutely.
When something's different. And they're telling you that it's not.
Yeah.
You're like, it fucking is. I know it is.
I know it is.
And this is yet another sign of it being weird. Well, finally, one day, he doesn't clear the history. And she's able to see that he is going to a site called darkfetish.net.
This is where it takes a turn.
Where there's a dead woman picture, like strung up and sliced open or whatever. And it's like, what Dark Fetish is a site that people... it's like snuff porn, pretty much. It's like violence towards women.
God.
So she fucking confronts him about it.
Oh, I wouldn't. Not if that's your fetish. Fuck no.
GTFO immediately, right?
Yep.
So no, she confronts him about it.
The police station.
And they talk about it. And she says even at that point that she was frightened by it, but that she finally felt like they were communicating and he was being honest with her, and that he said, this is, a fantasy, like bondage kind of thing, like, kind of like 50 Shades of Grey kind of thing. And so she kind of normalized it a little bit. And she was like, okay.
Well, I mean, and
let's talk about this,
right,
I guess.
Yeah. I mean, and this is going to come into play later, but it's like, you can't, their thoughts, they're like their fantasies, know? And so it's like, I feel like, to me, of course, it's a huge red flag, but I feel like, especially if you were already in this kind of like weakened mind state in this relationship where you're trying to do whatever to make it work, you could kind of rationalize it as being like, well, it's not as if he's like done anything.
Exactly. And like anyone that knows him has said that he's just like a super easygoing, really chill, super nice guy.
Yeah.
So to justify that, it's a hard thing to justify, where you're like, he's like, it's just a weird dark rabbit hole I went down.
Right. Yeah. I got sucked into this site, and then, like, I could see how she could rationalize it.
Absolutely.
Like,
but she didn't.
And you don't want to like fetish shame people, because there's people who are into like that, maybe
and if it's
darker,
just,
but
if it's just talking about
not,
but I think these were more like message boards where, and it's, it gets
so much worse.
Amen.
Yeah. She rationalized it, but not 100%, because the next thing that she does is she goes on the computer and installs a spyware that logs.
She's amazing. That's so smart.
That logs every keystroke. Yeah. So, because she's like, okay, I buy your explanation,
but I'm also
not dumb.
But
so
also, if you have to fucking do this in your relationship, like, it's time to moonwalk the fuck out.
Yeah.
Like, well,
I mean, it had to come at such a surprise. And I mean, like, so much of that tension of just being like, this person's been ignoring me, and like, why doesn't he love me anymore? And it's like, okay, he wants outside of the box sex.
Sure.
Like, there's just like a lot to process. And also there's a baby. There's a little baby girl
in our house.
Yeah. So it's just, and they're young, she's in her 20s. So she didn't know. So she ends up checking the spyware and gets the full scope of what she's able to download everything. She's able to see everything.
Can you imagine
you
this?
See
like,
everything.
I'm looking at it in like a cinematic way, and like how it would be like shot if this was like a suspense movie of her like opening up, like printing all this stuff out and like reading it. Oof. It is.
Yep.
Yeah. Tell me. I don't know.
So He is under darkfetish.net as Girl Meat Hunter. And he has posted so much stuff.
That's MEAT, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
And he has posted that he wants to abduct, rape, kill, and eat 100 girls.
What?
He posts pictures of them, and most of them are pictures of women he knows, including his wife.
Oh my!
So she is
God.
finding and reading chats about between him and other people of how he wants to make her suffer, cut her open, like eat her, like all this stuff.
She's how long he wants to like roast her in the oven.
Yep.
I want to vomit right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she is able to see there another woman that he knows that he went to college with, that they actually a few weeks prior just had brunch with. There's an entire abduction blueprint for her where he's like, I researched how to make chloroform. I have this little place in the woods. I'm constructing an oven big enough to fit her into.
And there's like Google searches of him how to make chloroform. Mm-hmm. And he even he was going to use his patrol vehicle. Like it was
it's an entire like blueprint on how to abduct and kill.
Oh my God.
This woman that he knows. There are pictures of all these people on the internet. So she doesn't call the police. She contacts the fucking FBI.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
She's like, we're not going to the local precinct.
No, because he's a cop.
Exactly.
He's a cop.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's a cop. And she books, what she does is she books a flight back home to Nevada to her fucking parents.
Yes.
And takes the daughter.
Yes.
GTFO.
Deuces.
Like,
good for
you know
her.
what I mean? It's one thing if you see like a couple of pics from the site, because they're disgusting and it's disturbing. But when you get the full scope, that's got to be the most terrifying. Like, could you fucking imagine?
No.
This is who you shared a bed with.
I would be physically ill.
A bulldog,
like
a baby.
Physically ill. Can you imagine the
and
thought of
she
him?
doesn't confront him on this. She leaves.
No,
Good for
no.
her.
Yes.
She's out.
She's
out.
Good for her. Because I think that would be my instinct would be to automatically be like, the fuck is this?
I think I'd get it.
I would love to think that I would have done her move and then been smart enough, but I am the person who fight or flight. I'm fighting.
Yeah.
And that's good for her. Thank God.
Now
she saved herself.
Yeah. So they call him. Agents call him and they're like, hey, somebody fucking hit your car or whatever, to get him to come outside because they're worried. They don't know if he's going to like have a gun or be like, they have all this information. They're like, this is a fucking psychopath. This is a crazy person.
Yeah.
Like, look at all this stuff that he's writing. He comes outside. They arrest him without incident. And he's held without bail. And he is charged with conspiracy because he hasn't done anything
that we know of.
Right. He's charged with conspiracy. And then he's also charged with accessing a federal database. Like inappropriate use of it, because what they find is he has actually accessed the NYPD database to look at like 5 of the 100 women, to look up their address, to look up this stuff like that.
I gotta say, and maybe it's because I've just been watching too many crime shows lately, but like we gotta have more hurdles for people to join the police force.
Yeah.
It is when you look at like the statistics of like
and they
domestic
say
abusers,
like psychopaths
they
gravitate towards law
jobs
enforcement.
like that.
And guess what his degree is in?
Psychology?
Yep.
Of course it is. Yeah.
Golden State Killer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, it's the numbers when you look at the statistics, like the domestic abusers in law enforcement, extremely high. Like, and there was a list that was put out that are like the top 5 jobs that people who have like psychopathic tendencies go into, and law enforcement's up there. We need more checks and balances. I'm just saying.
I'm gonna hot take all of this stuff though here in a minute, because this is we'll get deeper into the story. So he does go to trial, and they lay everything out. Now there are 24 long conversations in this trial that they lay out for the jury. In 21 of those 24, people on the chat ask him point blank, are you being serious? is this for real? And he says, no, this is all just a fantasy.
Oh.
And in fact, the front page of darkfetish.net says, this is a fantasy site. Nothing on this is real. But in 3 of the chats, somebody asks and he doesn't answer. Or in one, he says, he's like, yeah, it's for real. And then in another one, it says, it's totally real. And I would do it if I knew I wouldn't get caught.
Jesus.
So there's that. And they find no evidence that he ever procured any of the ingredients to make the chloroform. He didn't buy any like rope. He didn't buy any tasers. And in fact, he'd be like, Labor Day weekend, I'm going to blah, 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 blah. And then, of course, like nothing ever happened. Yeah. And then it's like, Memorial Day weekend, we're having a fucking woman roast at my cabin. And then, of course, so like the defense was saying like, this is a sick fantasy that he has, but it is a fantasy. Yeah. This guy, he's like, some people go to the gym after work. Some people drink after work. This is what I do to unwind.
No, sir, let's not. Let's not say this is unwinding.
It is not the same as having a drink after work. I'm sorry.
Literally, you know, he says, and he was interviewed by Park Dietz, who is an extremely famous forensic pathologist. He's interviewed John Hinckley Jr., he's interviewed Andrea Yates, 30 years, and he's generally always for the prosecution. Mm-hmm. So they bring in Park Dietz to be like, what's up with this psychopath?
Yeah,
Park
what's up with that?
Is like, he's not a psychopath. He's one of the nicest people I've ever met. It's like, he's got...
Or is he just really good?
I've actually listened to a lot of interviews and stuff with him. We'll go through it.
I've seen him in interviews as well. I mean, because that's what's so tricky about this case is that like this shit is horrifying.
It's horrifying.
And he did so much where you're like, to the point where you're like, how could he have not been really planning on following through with this?
Right.
But you cannot throw somebody in jail for their ideas.
So he was convicted.
So it's like,
and sentenced to life in prison.
Holy
and
shit!
See, that
life.
It seems like
life in prison
for what his crimes were, which was conspiracy and
accessing the database illegally. The jury pretty much were like, "Yeah, you have that what if moment." Where you're like, he didn't do anything, but like, what if he does?
What if he does?
Yeah. And one person's life saved by this.
Mm-hmm. But that's not how it works.
Yeah, it's not how it works.
It's not how it works.
And I'm with you, dude. Like whenever it's impossible to read, because in that documentary, they like, they read them out and they also show you like the stuff he was accessing. And as a jury member, like it would be impossible to be impartial and like read that stuff and like be like, I feel comfortable that releasing this person out into the public, but the law can't work that way. And like he didn't actually do anything.
But if I'm his wife,
if I'm his wife,
I'm fucking out.
Because that's we're looking at from her.
Yeah,
point.
They did. She filed for divorce in 2013, and to go back to him. He did appeal his conviction, and after 21 months, he was released. A judge acquitted him for basically like
hear what you're saying. I just
he was like, we're on the same page, Cassie. Trust me. Like I'm like, because I just feel like those thoughts, especially with the volume at which he was like doing it, like he was consuming this stuff so much, like it was an obsession. It was on the computer so much. I just feel like it has to escalate in some way at some point, right? Like, that's what makes it scary is like until he hurts somebody or follows through on something, we can't.
I mean, this isn't like a foot fetish kind of thing, so it's like it's definitely a little darker than that. But sexual fetishism is like. If you're going to act on a foot fetish, it's not as bad as if you're going to act on a cannibalism fetish. And especially, his upbringing was like very strict Catholic. Kathleen was his first time.
Really?
Wow.
He hadn't even like kissed a girl.
At 25?
Yeah. So he was, and he was, she even says he was like super fucking polite, respectful, and like almost like just inexperienced, It's just really nervous around her, like dating and stuff like that, and was like a gentleman, was old school in that way. So, I mean, we go like darker into like what, because he, raised Catholic and stuff. And so,
I mean, and also too, like, I get the idea. Like, I mean, we've talked about our own personal fetishes and the shit that we've watched porn wise. Like, look, I love watching DP, but to be honest with you, if it came down to it, I'm not trying to get fucked in both holes at the same time.
There are so many things that I
wouldn't act on that. It's a fantasy.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like,
How many things like that do you watch? Because I'm the same way. I'm like, I'll watch like massage porn, but it's like when I go in for a massage, like that's fucking assault.
I'd be like,
exactly.
Yeah, you'd be like,
but it's
not.
like it's something that it's like, oh, okay, like I can
because
fantasize
it's not
about it.
Like it's
not real, but somebody like looking at your search history doesn't know,
right? And they're like, oh, she's into that. Yeah,
because I fucking know, and that's the same way he's saying like, I know I don't really want to do this,
but there is something really like unsettling about like, of course, there's bondage, there's BDSM, there's like safe ways to enjoy like mixing things that could be considered a little
pleasure
like
and pain.
Yeah, but there is something a little disturbing about mixing violence, like real violence.
Yeah,
where someone's like life is at risk with like sexual pleasure. Like there's something like.
Well, there's also like women, like one of the more common fantasies for women is a rape fantasy.
No,
you know what I mean?
Not for me. Yeah,
but it is.
And I hear that. But like, women don't actually want to be raped, And if like if you were to look at somebody's like erotic history and see that that's what they're reading about or whatever,
Yeah. It's a dangerous.
It's a weird. Yeah.
And then
it's like the family shit too. Like you're just like, ugh. I mean, like, look, it doesn't turn me on, but it's turning somebody on.
Yeah,
but you're right, and it doesn't mean you want to act on it.
It doesn't mean you want to act on it. It's just like it's so weird,
True.
And
that's true. That's what makes this case so fucking tricky.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he gets out, and they end up, basically in family court, and she's like, "You're never seeing your daughter again." Like legitimately, you're never. And
I would feel
he
that
loses.
way too.
He loses that. I mean, so she's like, deuces, I'm fucking out. I'm never talking to you again. We're done. You're not seeing your daughter.
I would never feel comfortable with him alone with my daughter.
As much as I'm like, you can't, Big Brother 1984 thought crimes this person.
Sure.
If it was my daughter, I'd be like,
yeah, that's different. It is different. It's like, yeah, okay, don't throw him in jail.
Correct.
For his like thoughts, but also like these are certain perversions that like I would not
and also
allow my child to be alone around,
Yeah.
Thinking about the fact that her fucking picture and her friends' pictures were up on this site that, by the way, has 60,000 members.
So,
so her picture,
you're putting her at risk.
Exactly.
Like, you don't know who
just
else
because
is on
you don't
that
think
site.
you'd want to act on it.
Doesn't mean that
other people won't.
59,999 other people aren't fucking
exactly.
And my fucking pictures on that
so
site,
violating. Yeah, no.
Yeah, I can't even imagine how violated she. I mean, I can to some extent. Like we all get abuse online from time to time, but to that extent.
Wow.
Well,
Jesus Christ.
With, maybe he will never act on these fantasies, but that doesn't mean that other people on that site won't or haven't.
Won't see that picture.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Because there could be people on that site who are doing.
They're like, you know what? That does sound like a good idea, and she looks perfect for this.
You know what?
Yes.
Actually, I'm going to take your plan, and I'm going to
execute it myself.
Because people have gotten stalkers for less than that.
Correct.
Like, know?
Yeah. So from her perspective, I'm like, yeah, everything that she did.
Yeah, I'm not going to see you again. You're not going to see your kid anymore.
Exactly.
Bye.
You've put me in danger. You've endangered our daughter. Like, yeah.
He's not a cop anymore also.
Oh,
correct?
No.
Yeah.
Actually, he is a published author. Ugh. You can buy his books because that's what he said. This whole thing was for him was like writing. So he writes horror novels now, and
there's something really gross about that. I don't.
So yeah, and
I would like to not give him a cent of my So
That's
he
gross.
does that, and he works for a construction company. And I think he still lives with his mom, who, by the way,
his parents were defending him hard in that documentary. It was like a little disturbing, actually.
Yeah.
You're like, by a little, I mean a lot.
Yeah, I mean, like, no, I get like defending your kid. That's your kid, and also like if my kid got convicted, even if it was something like that, to life in prison for something they didn't actually follow through on doing, I mean, of course you would be like, that's not how this works.
Right.
But the level to which they
not be able to like acknowledge the fact that it's like, okay,
weird and wrong.
This stuff is weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like she couldn't even do that. It was strange.
Oh.
Yeah. But yeah, it's like, so for me, I think what I found the most interesting about this case, again, is just like, just imagining being in her shoes. And, you know, I've done it. I've checked search history. You know what I mean? And I couldn't even imagine finding something like that.
Jesus, no.
You know?
No.
It's one thing if you find evidence of like, because she's thinking, oh, is it an affair?
Sure.
Is it
Right.
like,
Yes.
is it porn?
Am I going to find him on Ashley Madison or like something like that? Which is something that like, yes, would be awful.
We
but
can go to
you
therapy
could
about
work
that.
through
Yeah.
that.
But we cannot.
Like,
I don't know that I would.
no, I couldn't.
No.
I could not.
No, I couldn't either.
You could never
no
have
way.
sex with that person again without thinking about like,
He want to kill me.
Yeah.
Does he want to kill me?
Yes.
Does he want to kill me?
what is he
and
thinking
eat
about
me?
right now?
And that's a turn off for me.
Ew,
honestly.
it's a hard no.
You're not. That's a hard role play too.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
No. He's like, listen, I just want to tie
Pretend.
your wrists and your ankles together and put this apple in your mouth. Can I not do that? Like, you're like, no.
No.
No, safe word.
Yeah. Bananas.
Exactly. But yeah, so
yikes.
yeah, I
That
mean,
is yikes.
there's not a lot of podcasts on the story. There's a good article in the New Yorker that I read about it, and then obviously the
What was the
documentary
show called again?
Thought Crimes.
Well, that'll be easy to remember.
Yeah, you can see it on YouTube, because I mean, everybody's got varying opinions about where the line is, because you can't
It's a tough one.
you can't prosecute somebody. But the fact is that conspiracy, the actual like definition of what it is like, okay, you haven't committed a crime yet,
Right.
but you've taken an overt step towards
doing that.
doing that. So if you're gonna like rob a bank, for instance,
Yeah, you have
like
their
an
blueprints. And you
overt
have
act would be like, oh, okay, like you were like like case the joint or whatever,
right. Well, it's
So,
just like
I'm
those women who get caught by the undercover cop or whatever.
Yes,
Like I did that one story
yeah.
where she was like, "Yes, I want you to kill him." That's a conspiracy to murder.
You have
Correct.
to say that, and like money has to be exchanged. But I mean, I could even see a good defense attorney managing to get you out of a conspiracy charge, because it's like you did all this stuff online, but you never bought anything.
Right.
There's no proof that you ever like cased anyone.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like,
Except that he does
But
have
for me, yeah,
the
I'm
proof.
just like,
there is the proof of him using the website.
the database.
And
yeah.
for him, he was just like, I just wanted it to be more real. I wanted the story to be more real and more believable. And it's still like,
Well, then
but for me, I'm just
that's
like,
something you would have shared with your wife. I think that's something that you would, if that's the case, you'd be like, I just want you to know, I have a thought for this book idea. If you see any weirdness, you know what I mean?
right.
Like that would have been easy to.
But I think
say.
too, he's young in his 20s, sexually repressed.
Sure.
He obviously knows what he's doing is weird,
Wrong and weird, yes.
and is trying to hide it, but also is like an early 20s guy that's all jacked up and horny. Like, there's so many fucking, it's like levels. I'm like, I can kind of excuse that and understand that, but it's still also kind of weird, and I wouldn't be comfortable with it. And you know what I mean? Where I go back and forth.
I mean,
on
unfortunately, and this is like the shitty thing about it, it's like we're not actually going to know what's real and what's not.
You'll never know
until he hurts somebody.
You'll never know what's in someone else's heart. But you can always like, you know, for me, like you passed a hard line.
Oh,
like
100%.
You know,
personally, it's a no from me.
Well, and again, sharing his wife's picture, all that stuff.
Right.
Is
I mean,
very,
that stuff deserves to be like that's crossing a very, very real line. You can't go
That's
putting
punishable.
other people's pictures on sites like that. Like that's no.
Now, the people that he was chatting to, the main people that he was chatting with, one was in the US. They picked him up and charged him too, but there was other stuff that he was doing kind of unrelated. So I think he got arrested and served time. There was a guy in England, Moody Blues was what he went under, which is so fucking lame.
Rolled
He's
your
like
eyes out loud.
he's like in his 60s. He got arrested in the UK. The only one that didn't was there was a guy in Pakistan that they were communicating with too. But that's why he claims in the documentary he was staying up so late was because he was really enjoying talking to Moody Blues, who was on UK time.
Sure.
So like, yeah. But still,
I don't know.
It's
This
just
is all very,
it's a weird, gross.
watch the documentary though. It's so well done. You can find it for free on YouTube.
I'm heading to the airport right after this, so I know what I will be watching at the airport.
Yeah.
It is interesting to watch him in interviews because he does come across as so normal, and I think that's what's so like. Because even when you watch like other serial killers, so you're like, oh, they seem so normal. There's still something
even somebody like a
there
Ted
where,
Bundy, where it's like, oh, he's so charismatic, and I'm like,
But there's
nope,
still
don't see it.
something.
This
There's
guy
still
isn't
something there.
charismatic.
No,
for
he's
sure.
so normal.
He is
like
soup's normal,
aggressively normal.
And that's what makes me like weird. I'm like, what would we all do if all of our Google searches or our porn
God.
searches
Yeah,
were
like-
made public?
Oh God,
Well,
yeah.
I mean, I feel like I've pretty much shared on here.
Yeah.
So I feel like, you know.
and mine too. I'm just like,
But yeah, you're right.
know.
It's a private thing, and you're just like,
it's not necessarily, exactly something that you want in real life. It's just like it's different. But I'm like, I'm also not searching like how to make chloroform
Right.
or whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, I have random Google searches because we do like murder stuff like
that's
all the
true.
time.
That is
so like,
true.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Someone doesn't know.
if someone were
They're
to
like,
take,
you're really interested in Charles Manson. What's wrong with you?
if someone were to just isolate my like Google searches or like
Right.
what I listen to on podcasts, just isolate those things and then like try and piece together a human being, I don't think that they would put together the person that I am or
Right.
like, or the person that I present as to the world, like
Right.
at all. You know, so I mean,
everybody,
I get that. I get it. I don't know, and it's icky, and it's like oogie.
here's the thing.
Oogie.
I also don't think like there's something very active about participating in chat rooms
Yeah.
Yes.
that feels, you know what I mean,
More
when
real.
that feels
Yeah.
more real.
Yes, yes.
You know, where regardless of what's in your heart,
You're connecting with other
you're
human
connecting
beings.
and you don't know what's
Yeah.
in their heart.
Yes.
And so like it to me it's just like it's
This, honestly,
reprehensible that
engaging?
he's
I think I would feel even differently about it if he had never shared like pictures and names.
Yeah.
correct.
Like, because to me, I'm like,
That's what crossed
it
the line for
crosses
me.
out of fantasy. You're going real life by like
Yep.
sharing that stuff. And again, you might know that you would never do anything, but you don't know that these people you're talking to
Correct.
won't. So like,
and it's irresponsible, it's
yes,
dangerous.
It's dangerous.
And
Yeah.
so yeah, that's the part of it for me where I'm like, you definitely cross the line, and it feels like there's like you're inching towards something real.
Agreed. Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So like, yeah, when I watch all this stuff, I think if he hadn't gotten caught, I don't know if he would have gone all the way through it, but I feel like he would have done something. Especially with the college friend of his.
yeah.
That's
There was
scary.
something
Weird.
there with her.
Imagine being her.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yikes.
Because they like drove spur of the moment to go have like brunch with her one day. And like
Yeah, I don't like
then
any of that.
after driving all day and doing that, they come home, they have a kid. He immediately jumps onto a chat on the
Oh.
internet and is like, oh, she looks so mouthwatering today. I'm just like, ugh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't like any of this.
God,
Ugh.
that's enough to make me
Yikes.
like, I'm not eating any meat for the rest of the day.
Yeah. Salt salads from
It's
here
a
on out.
salad day.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, that's the story of the Cannibal Cop.
Wow.
Good one.
Thanks
Very
for sharing
good
that.
one.
I
Yeah.
am definitely going to watch that. That
Yeah.
sounds-
Yikes. Scary.
Speaking of watching, what are you guys watching right now?
So I just finished in I Am the Night. I just finished it.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about it.
Well, we
Like,
love that podcast so
okay,
much.
yeah. So like I watched it. It's on Hulu for anybody who wants to watch it. It is good. TNT always does a very good job of like, it's written very well. It's acted very well. It's the same director who did Wonder Woman. It's the set design, the way it's shot. It's beautiful. But I think because we've listened, like, I think you guys are going to have the same problem if you try and watch it. Like, because we've listened to the podcast,
Root of Evil,
which is the true story, like the true story of
crazy, man.
George Hodel and the Hodel family and the Black Dahlia murder. This show is so dramatized. Like, it is so dramatized to the point where I'm like, I don't think, like, I was watching it with Anthony last night and he was like, do you think you having listened to the podcast is making it hard for you to enjoy this show? And I was like, yeah, like a little bit. I think it is, because if I just watched it as like, they try very hard to be like, this is based on a true story. Like at the end of every episode, they give you pictures, like real life pictures or articles about like what was happening. But the story itself is so like fictionalized.
Sure.
Yeah.
That I'm like, ew, I don't.
Yeah, I'm not really interested in watching it, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
No, I'm torn.
I mean, if you can separate yourself out from it, then you can probably enjoy it.
Yeah.
Because it's like nicely done.
Yeah.
But just knowing what we know, it's like,
I've been catching up on Sneaky Pete.
Oh,
Love that show.
do you like that show?
I do.
I love Giovanni Ribisi.
Oh, I do too. And it's funny because I'm like, this is the kind of show that for me would usually peter out by now, because I love the idea of this, like, oh, suspense, something you're like, oh, you're going to get caught for this thing. Like that starts to get wear on me. And you're like, okay, everybody starts to learn
never
the secret.
get caught.
You're like, I get it. Like you're just, it gets to a place where you're just like, I'm kind of over it. But they've kept it fresh because it's like, I really like what they're doing with this third season. Again, this is where the part where I was like, I would normally get bored of this idea, because they'd keep that plot point going. But they are taking a turn into him doing other things. So there are people who know about him, know his story. So the main plot point of him kind of faking who he is to this family is only a kind of more of a secondary plot line. That's not the main thing. So I don't know. I like it.
So they got good writers that are keeping things like fresh.
Keeping it fresh.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good.
Nice.
Good.
So far, so good. So I'm not finished with that yet, but that's probably what I'll also spend the rest of my travel day doing.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Anything for you? Anything new?
I told you guys already. I'm obsessed with that Fleabag.
Oh yeah, Fleabag. Yeah.
Go watch it. Just
Can't
freaking so brilliantly written, and it's also I've never identified with a protagonist so hard before.
Yeah.
I feel like that is
You're
like
like,
a
she is
window
you,
into
and
my head.
You are
this
her.
about
Yes.
me.
Yeah.
So it's like I inner monologue like that a lot too. I break the fourth wall in my real life all the time. And so there was just
To the camera that's following you around.
Exactly. Yes. And I just thought it was cute. It was poignant, and it was what it says about being a single woman trying to find yourself. I thought it was just such a clever, fresh way to take it. And then, of course, like the second season with Hot Priest. Come on.
Oh, I can't wait to watch it.
Come on.
Damn it. Now maybe that's what I'm going to watch today.
Yeah, if you want to feel
yeah.
better about yourself,
Yeah.
maybe don't watch Cannibal Cop and watch
Yeah,
watch
yeah.
Fleabag instead.
Listen to Lizzo and watch
Yes.
Fleabag. Got it.
Yes.
Do we have a fan we're standing? I forgot to get one.
Let's see. Let's stand a fan. Stand a fan time. Stand a fan. Let's bring up our Facebook group and see who comes up first. Oh my God.
I love that you're
All
just
right.
like you're just like trying to like buy time.
Also, though, you're going to like edit all that out. So.
Yeah. Let's stand Craig Folk.
Yes.
Yes.
Hi, Craig.
Hi, Craig.
What up,
And,
Craig?
Yeah, huge shout out. He's always so active in the group.
I know.
Such a cheerleader for people. He always shares stories that are like super interesting. About
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honest.
We know a lot about his life. I feel like he shares
guy.
so much.
I just thank you so much for listening and for interacting and everything.
Yeah,
we love it.
Yeah, we love it.
So if you have stories or you want to interact with us, go to our one-stop shop of a website at myworstdatepodcast.com. That's how you can find our Patreon page, our Facebook. You can listen, you can see upcoming live shows, and you can submit stories. We're always taking stories.
Absolutely.
So
The more, the better.
thank you so much. We'll see you next time.
Cheers.
Ask Sherwin-Williams during the Endless Summer Sale, September 1st through the 11th, and get 30% off paints and stains with prices starting at $31.14. That means 30% off our most popular color family, blue. Psychologists have found it to be soothing and relaxing, which makes it especially great for bedrooms and bathrooms. And of course, get 30% off all of our other colors. Shop the sale online or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Click the banner to learn more. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
This is a Glassbox Media Podcast.